Till now, we have seen the ideology that fascism is, and we also try to understand the origin, the nature, and also the various beliefs associated with fascism. We also saw that fascism is a totalitarian ideology which believes in the supreme and absolute authority of one leader over the entire country, and no one can oppose that particular leader. Therefore, fascism believes in centralizing power in one individual. But who was this individual in case of fascist Italy? Well, no doubt it was Benito Mussolini.
Now, the rise of fascism is intricately linked with the rise of Benito Mussolini.
So, in this video, we see the early life of Benito Mussolini and in what manner his ideas and his ideologies were shaped up during this period, which eventually led to the rise of fascism in Italy. Now, Benito Mussolini was born in Dovia de Predapio, which happens to be a small village in Italy which is close to Venice, and he was born on July 29, 1883. When Mussolini was a young boy, he was sent off to boarding school. He did surprisingly well in boarding school and he always got the best ranks. Now, early off in his career, Mussolini worked as a school teacher. So, from getting good ranks in boarding school to becoming a school teacher, how exactly are we going to get to Mussolini becoming the fascist leader of Italy? You see, everything transformed with a small career change. See, in the year 1902, Mussolini shifted to Switzerland. So, from Italy, he went on to Switzerland. Now, why did he do this, you may ask? You see, this is because Mussolini was afraid of compulsory military conscription, which is that every single man in Italy had to serve for a limited period of time in the Italian army, and Mussolini was afraid of doing that. Isn't it ironic how the person who once fled from his own home country to Switzerland, being afraid to serve in the army and be part of wars, one day went on to wage one of the most deadliest wars humanity has ever seen? Now, can you answer this question? Which country did Mussolini shift to in the year 1902? Was it Germany? Was it Britain? Was it Switzerland? Or was it France? The correct answer happens to be Switzerland. So now Mussolini had shifted to Switzerland in the year 1902.
But here, crisis befell him.
He did not get a single permanent job in this new land, and in this particular situation, Mussolini got involved in politics. Now, Mussolini became a political speaker and also a journalist in Switzerland. But the job of a journalist which he got was not permanent. So none of the jobs he did in Switzerland happened to be permanent, and therefore he got more and more involved with politics. So now Mussolini used to fight for the rights of the workers, and slowly he started drifting towards the ideology of socialism. Now you might be surprised because we had mentioned that fascism is extremely anti-socialist, and how exactly was Mussolini drifting towards socialism? Well, to know the answer to that, you have to stick with us till we get to the part where we understand Mussolini's relation or a complicated relation with socialism. So now, apart from drifting towards socialism, Mussolini also got exposed to the various works of Hegel, Kant, Nietzsche, and even Sorel. And as we can see then, Mussolini's ideology is now starting to form. Not only is he being influenced by socialist ideologies, he also is getting exposed to the works which eventually will inspire his fascist ideology. So thus, while he continued to stay in Switzerland, Mussolini continued to be actively involved in politics and took part in many strikes and rallies. For this reason, Mussolini also got jailed twice. So you can see one of the pictures over here. So these are the documents which show Mussolini being arrested. So he got arrested twice for his political activities, namely the strikes which he led.
But Mussolini's life took a turn in the year 1904. You see, in this year, Mussolini finally returned back to Italy. But why did he not do this all this while? Well, if you remember, Mussolini left Italy to skip military service. And there was a law in Italy that any person who skips military service is a war deserter and therefore would be punished. But in the year 1904, a new law was passed in Italy by which the deserters of the military were exempted from punishment. And therefore, Mussolini knew that it is time to come back to Italy.
Now this question must come to your mind. How exactly was Benito Mussolini a socialist? We saw how he got exposed to the ideals of socialism back in Switzerland, and he also happened to work for the betterment and the rights of workers. Now how was Benito Mussolini a socialist? And if he really was one, how did he later turn to become a fascist? And fascism and socialism, as already mentioned, are opposing ideologies. Well, for that, we have to continue our story with Mussolini. So, Mussolini came back to Italy in 1904 and then went on to serve in the army for a period of 2 years. After he was done serving in the army, he now decided to join Italian politics. Now, Mussolini already had become popular as a political speaker and journalist back in Switzerland, and here in Italy, his popularity favored him. Now, Mussolini decided to join the Italian Socialist Party. This is because he had become radicalized by the ideals of socialism. And soon enough, by winning multiple elections in the Socialist Party, Mussolini went on to become Italy's most prominent socialist. Now here is a picture from when Mussolini joined the Italian Socialist Party. Now you can understand that Mussolini not only became a member of the Socialist Party, his popularity and his political prowess made him Italy's most prominent socialist. Now Mussolini led many protests against the Italian war in Libya. Now the Italian war in Libya was an Italian annexation of Libya, which happened to be a country in northern Africa. Now this was considered to be an imperialist activity as Italy was trying to colonize Libya. And that is why Mussolini led many strikes which were anti-imperialist riots, saying that the government of Italy is committing an imperialistic act while trying to occupy Libya. Therefore, we see that Mussolini was not only the most prominent socialist of Italy, Mussolini was actively involved in many left-wing protests taking place in Italy. Now, a question must come to our mind that how is Italy's most prominent socialist about to become Italy's most fearful dictator? It's a sea change which simply cannot be explained by a couple of sentences. In reality, Mussolini's difference from socialism had existed since the very beginning. This is because Mussolini never believed in the concept of egalitarianism or social equality. Now, the concept of social equality denotes the idea that all men are born equal and hence deserve to be treated equally. Mussolini differed from this. He did not believe in the equality of all. On the other hand, Mussolini was rather influenced by the works of Nietzsche, and Nietzsche gave his ideal of Ubermensch. Now, Ubermensch is the ideal of the death of God, which says that God is dead and therefore there needs to rise a man or a group of people who would become the new gods and therefore would then standardize new human morality. Mussolini was drawn towards this ideal and gave less importance to the concepts of social equality. The problem is, social equality or egalitarianism happened to be a core tenet of socialism, and Mussolini differing from that also makes him differ from socialism. Now, despite this difference in ideology we just mentioned, Mussolini still claimed to be a socialist at heart. The real drift which Mussolini had from socialism, however, happened with a single incident, and that was the outbreak of the Great War of 1914, which we now call the First World War. When the First World War broke out, Italy was in a political turmoil. While one side of the people wanted Italy to fight in the war, the other wanted Italy to stay away from the war. Now, the most prominent people who were anti war were mostly socialists, and they were against Italy entering the First World War. This list of socialists also happened to include Mussolini. The reason they did not want Italy to enter the war is because they considered this an aggressive conflict among oppressive nations who would then forcibly draw in millions of depressed classes and working classes to fight in the war, leading to their deaths. And therefore, they wished to avoid this, and since they wanted to avoid this, they were anti-war. However, Mussolini later changed his stance. He had a shift of stance and he started to support the Italian entry into the First World War. This is because Mussolini felt that Italy's entry into the First World War would be advantageous for both Italy and himself. Now let us now see what advantages Mussolini saw in Italy entering the First World War. So it has already been mentioned before that it was at the behest of Germany that Austria-Hungary and Italy decided to join the Triple Alliance. You see, Italy and Austria-Hungary have been enemies for centuries, and it was only through a Triple Alliance was there ever a chance for Italy and Austria-Hungary to fight side by side. Now, Mussolini thought that if Italy decides to join the war, the Italians who were living in occupied regions of Austria-Hungary would be able to fight alongside their Italian brothers. This would in turn give rise to nationalistic sentiments in their hearts as well as the hearts of the Italians who were fighting in the war. And he felt that this would be a great opportunity for a rise of nationalism in Italy, which, as you may now know, is an extremely important element for the rise of an ideology like fascism, which was currently brewing in the mind of Mussolini. Now, Mussolini also felt that if Italy happens to join the war, it would bring Italy many strategic territories which it could gain as the spoils of war from other countries it would be fighting against. And finally, Mussolini felt that this war is nothing short of a revolution for Italy, as it would give Italy a chance to find its right place in the world which it hadn't got previously. And therefore, Mussolini pushed for Italy to join the First World War. However, the Italian Socialist Party did not like what Mussolini did. They considered Mussolini's act to be against the party decision. They also felt that what Mussolini had done was too radical for socialists, and therefore they decided to expel Mussolini or to throw him out of the Italian Socialist Party. Mussolini never expected this, and he considered this act cowardly. And he also came to a realization that socialists cannot get anything done. This was the push Mussolini required to do away with socialism and sail over to the right wing of politics. Now, after being expelled from the Socialist Party, Mussolini decided to join the army and fight in the First World War. Now, in this picture, you see Mussolini having been drafted into the First World War and being sent to fight on the behalf of Italy. Now, Mussolini fought on Italy's side throughout the course of war. Now, we know that this includes Italy's abandonment of the Triple Alliance and its shift over to Triple Entente powers. This Mussolini did not object to, as he felt that it is better for Italy to do so, as it would be more advantageous for Italy in the future. And therefore we see Mussolini kept on fighting for Italy till the end of war. Now, if you remember, the end of the war itself was favorable for Italy, as Italy ended up on the victorious side as it had joined the Allied powers and thus had defeated the Central powers in the war. Now, when the war came to an end, Mussolini already had become a noted military officer. Now, by this time, Mussolini had drifted far away from socialism, and this led to the shaping of his political ideology, which eventually led to the rise of fascism in Italy. Now, speaking of that, Italy itself was not happy about the end of war. Despite the fact that it ended victorious in the First World War, Italy was not happy with what it received at the end, and therefore there was mass discontentment in Italy. Mussolini felt this discontentment
and decided to capitalize on it.
he decided to be the face of change and he therefore started the fascist party. Now we will continue the story of Mussolini and his rise to the power of dictator in subsequent videos. But in the immediate next video, we would be focusing on the various causes behind the rise of fascism, or in simple words, we would be looking at the background behind the rise of fascism.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers, or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.